Hi everybody, welcome to my last movie review. This is the other good movie review that I was going to do today outside of Maleficent. Um, for starters, I want to start this off by saying I'm going to talk about Dracula Untold. This movie wasn't what I expected it, and I'm not saying that like in a bad way. What I thought it was going to be more like, the Bela Lugosi, I want to suck your blood, not, suit wearing, manly type, you know, Dracula type movie, like something along those lines. No. This was more like Knights of the Crusade meets Dracula. It is more like, it was more about, along the lines of like who Vlad the Impaler really was, or Vlad Tepish. You know, him. It was more like along the lines of like his backstory and more about him than it was about Bram Stoker's Dracula, like Bela Lugosi played him. So I mean, and it was actually pretty good. And it was, like very, it put it this way, don't watch it if you're, easily scared. This isn't like, like that movie I was talking about in the first review I did today, Ouija, where it's, kids getting together and being stupid. This is more like, like you F with me, I'm going to F you up in like 12 ways to Sunday, and you're gonna go home crying to your mama kind of thing. That's what this movie is like. Sorry, I thought I saw something on my cup. I'm seeing something on the monitor that's right there where the cup is. Well, but yeah, Dracula Untold, it's like, he's a real hard ass, as my husband would say, as Tony would say. Absolute freaking hard ass, and he's like, he goes in there and he kicks the Turks' asses and is like, screw you and the horse you flamin' rode in on, kiss my ass kind of thing. And he just, like, it just shows him being a total badass, hard ass, tough ass, manly man. Don't screw with me and mine, or you're gonna end up, getting you and yours effed over in the worst possible way. That's basically, what happens. I mean, it just, like, it shows him impaling people on pikes and, just, it doesn't show him actually, like, doing it, but, like, it shows him, like, like, off in the background, like, there's probably dummies hanging there for all I know. Probably, it'd be safe to say it probably is dummies hanging there, but it just is like, it's like the reaction of Muhammad II, the you know the Sultan, when he shows up, is the reaction I had. I was like, okay, I mean, because they talk about when Vlad the Impaler, did what he did, which was impale a bunch of the Turks, when they tried to overrun Romania or Transylvania. That's what he did, and it wasn't pretty. And it's like, it's said that the Turks took one look at what happened and turned around and left. It was just that, it was just that yuck. I was like, ew, basically, this is one of those movies where I have to say, I know somebody, it's a guy, I won't say who it is, I won't say how I know this fella. I like this guy a lot as a friend, or an acquaintance or whatever, but he's not, like, I'm not like anything beyond that with the guy, because, you should realize I'm happily married to my husband, Tony. Tony and I know this fella, that, like, he got all squeamish watching The Green Mile with us, which is, I'm sad to say, Stephen King, that was tame, okay, because I've seen Stanley Kubrick's, um, what is it, Apocalypse Now? I almost puked, okay, it was so bad. That movie, Apocalypse Now, just so you know, this isn't as bad as Apocalypse Now was. Apocalypse Now is a movie that I will never watch again as long as I live. That I've told Tony, I'm like, yeah, if you want to watch Apocalypse Now, go borrow it from the library and watch it on your own time. I'm like, when I'm asleep, or I'm at work, or I am not here, because I will never, ever, ever watch that movie with you. I said, that is one movie that I can promise you that I've already seen once. I will never see it again as long as I live, because, ugh, you know, it is what it is. I told him, I said, seeing them yank out beating zebra hearts was a bit much, you know, which that's what they did in that movie. But that stuff makes Dracula Untold look tame. Okay, I mean, and this is what I was trying to explain. I don't think I explained it very well in Ouija, but this is, you know, Dracula Untold is, there's a reason why this movie is an R and Ouija is a PG-13. Dracula Untold is violent. It is, you know, I mean, it's just people, like, it shows them get, you know, impaling, getting beat, you know, blood and guts. I mean, this is why this movie is a rated R. You know, Ouija's a PG-13 because it shows none of that, and it's like, you know, and I forgot to mention this in that movie review, but when the girl hangs herself with the Christmas lights, you don't see her face or anything. It looks like a dummy hanging there. It's like, really? You know, like, it's very badly done, you know, suicide scene. Not that I'm condoning suicide, don't get that idea. I'm not condoning suicide. You know, if you just as an aside, if you feel the need to commit suicide, call suicide hotline, okay? Get help, okay? You know, I know of somebody who actually went through and committed suicide. You know, I don't understand why they did it. Nobody does. It's a personal thing. But as I've said before, you know, if you're that depressed that you need to commit suicide, you need to stop being self-centered for a few minutes and think about what the effect is that it would have on other people. But, you know, Dracula, you know, more or less committed suicide by going and seeing the thing that became, you know, his maker is Dracula. And the guy that played, I'm going to look up his name right now because it's like I could tell you who it is. I have to look at it. Charles Dance is his name. Plays the character that turns Dracula into, you know, the Bela Lugosi version of Dracula. Charles Dance. I'm trying to get it pulled up here. If I can refrain from dropping my cell phone, that's. Let me see if I can get it to work. That's Charles Dance right there on my cell phone. That's from Wikipedia, by the way. He is also in The Golden Child from 1986 as Sardo Numspa. You know, that's, you know, and I happen to own that movie, by the way. I think I even did a movie review on that one. But yeah, same guy, different movie. This is actually a pretty good movie, but it's so funny. It shows you know, Charles Dance at the end of the movie, and it's just, you know, it's like you're like, yeah, that's him, all right, you know. But like in the you know, middle parts of the movie, I'm like, are you sure that's him? You know, I'm like looking at him going, are you sure that's him? Well, it sounded like him. I'm like, you know, but yeah, it's like you see him at the end, you're like, yeah, that's him. You know, it's like it looks like it, you know. But like they did him up, you know, to where it's like you're like, what? I mean, they did just a killer makeup job on Charles Dance. You know, they did. And when Dracula becomes Dracula in this movie, you know, he becomes even more of a hard ass. You know. Oh, but as an aside, I have a friend that couldn't watch, the Green Mile because he's a bit of a weak and what I would call a weak man, because he's a coward. He couldn't handle watching the Green Mile, and I don't think he could handle watching this one for the same reason. It's just because it's like, bleh, and it's like, Dracula, like I said, being a hard ass and everything, and it's just, he's just up your ass and kicking your tail and just, taking no prisoners, literally. I mean, he impaled him with a stake. That's why there was no prisoners. But yeah, I mean, this is not something you want to watch, and this is what I'm getting at. If you are a coward, okay? If you can't handle blood and guts, like this, and you want a good screamer flick, go watch Ouija. That first movie I talked about earlier today. But if you want, a good, kick everybody's ass, take no prisoners, no holds barred, good screamer flick, Dracula Untold's a good movie. Alright, well, anyway, that's all I've got for right now. So, I'm going to pause here for right now, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.